Most spring flower lists are completely useless. They show you plants that look beautiful for 10 minutes, then disappear, flop over, or leave your beds looking empty by May. So instead of giving you another fantasy list, I'm giving you 18 flowers that actually keep performing through spring in real gardens with real weather, and real-life gardeners who do not have time to babysit plants. And stay with me because the last tier is where the garden plan rewrite starts. So let's do this the smart way. Tier 1 is what I call the reliable foundations, the plants that bloom no matter what you do, no matter how rough your soil is, no matter how many springs you've spent feeling like you missed the window again. Tier 2 is the surprising performers, the ones most people walk right past at the garden center because they don't look like much in a 4-inch pot, and then 6 weeks later they're the photo on your phone. And Tier 3, my favorite, is the showstoppers, the flowers that don't just bloom all spring. They redefine what spring is supposed to look like in your yard. And I'll tell you right now, item number 14 is the one I almost left off this list because I was worried you wouldn't believe me. You will. Just stay with me. Let's start at the bottom of the ladder. The reliable foundations. These are tight, fast, and forgiving because you don't need a speech to start planting them. You just need permission, and you have it. Number 1 is the humble pansy. And before you scroll past because you think pansies are what your grandmother planted in a concrete urn, hear me out. The modern pansy is a different animal. The Cool Wave series trails up to 30 inches and blooms from 40-degree mornings straight through to 70-degree afternoons without flinching. The Matrix series gives you face-sized blooms in colors that look almost painted on deep burgundy, butter yellow, and inky purple that reads almost black at dusk. They handle frost, they handle rain, they handle that one weekend you forgot to water. Zones 4 through 8 as cool season annuals, longer in the Pacific Northwest. One tip, deadhead once a week and they'll bloom an extra month. That's it. That's the whole job. Number 2, Sweet Alyssum. Tiny, white, smells like honey on a warm afternoon. You plant it once, it self-seeds forever, and it carpets the edges of every bed you put it near. Snow Princess is the cultivar to know. Sterile, so it blooms harder and longer than the old varieties. Zones 5 through 9, full sun. Lousy soil, doesn't matter. It blooms anyway. And if you've ever wondered what that sweet smell is when you walk past a well-planted front yard in May, 9 times out of 10, it's alyssum. Number 3 is dianthus, and specifically the Fire Witch and Bath's pink varieties. These are matte-forming, blue-gray foliage that looks good even when nothing's blooming, and then in April the whole thing erupts in clove-scented pink that lasts 6 full weeks. Zones 3 through 9. They want sharp drainage and almost nothing else. If you have clay soil, plant them on a slight slope or on a raised edge. That's the only rule. Otherwise, they'll outlive your fence. Number 4. Forget-me-nots. The Myasota sylvatica kind. The ones with the impossibly small sky blue flowers that look like someone scattered confetti across the bed. They bloom from late March through mid-May in most of the country, and they reseed themselves into a soft blue haze year after year. Zones 3 through 8. They want part shade and moist soil, but they're not picky about which part shade. Under a deciduous tree, along the north side of the house, that one weird corner that gets morning sun and then nothing, they'll bloom there. And number 5, the foundation finisher, creeping phlox, Phlox subulata. You've seen it. The waterfall of pink, white, or lavender pouring over a stone wall in someone's front yard every April. And every April you've thought, I should plant that. This is your year. Emerald blue, candy stripe, and snowflake are the 3 cultivars to chase. Zones 3 through 9. Full sun. Poor soil. Once it's established, it doesn't need you at all. You'll trim it lightly after bloom, and that's the entire maintenance calendar. That's Tier 1, 5 plants, 5 forever bloomers. And here's the truth. If you stopped right here, planted just those 5, you'd already have a spring garden better than 90% of the yards on your street. But you're not stopping here. We're climbing. We're leaving the easy ones behind. Tier 2 is where most gardeners stop, but you shouldn't. Because Tier 2 is where spring gets interesting. Number 6 is hellebore, also called the Lenten rose. And I want you to picture this. It's the second week of February. There's still snow on the north side of your house. And in the middle of the brown frozen flower bed, a cluster of nodding flowers in deep plum, dusty pink, or chartreuse green is already blooming. That's hellebore. Helleborus orientalis is the classic. But the Froscus series and the Wedding Party series have changed the game, upward-facing blooms and colors that look almost unreal. Zones 4 through 9, part to full shade, evergreen foliage. They bloom for 3 months. 3. And the only thing you do is cut the old leaves back in February so the flowers can show off. That's it. Number 7. Bleeding Heart. Dicentra spectabilis. The old-fashioned one, the one with the arching stems hung with perfect pink hearts dripping in a row. Gold Heart is the cultivar with chartreuse foliage that lights up a shady corner like a lamp. Alba is pure white if you want a moonlight bed. Zones 3 through 9. Part shade, moist soil, and a little patience. It goes dormant in midsummer, which scares first-time gardeners, but it's not dead. It's just napping. Plant hostas or ferns nearby to fill the gap, and it'll be back next March, bigger than before. Number 8 is Columbine, and this is where you start to feel like you're gardening on easy mode. Aquilegea. The Songbird series gives you blooms the size of a child's palm in two-tone combinations, blue and white, red and yellow, pink and cream. They self-seed gently, never aggressively, and they bloom from late April through June. Zones 3 through 9. Sun or part shade. Average soil. They'll cross-pollinate with whatever other columbines you plant, so by year 3 you'll have your own custom cultivars showing up in the bed. That's not a bug, that's a feature. Number 9. Brune, also called Siberian bugloss, also called false forget-me-not. The variety Jack Frost has silver leaves veined in green that glow in shade like nothing else in the plant world. And in April, it throws up sprays of true blue flowers that look like forget-me-nots on a better diet. Zones 3 through 8. Full to part shade. Average to moist soil. The foliage stays beautiful from April to October. The blooms last 6 weeks. And it asks for absolutely nothing in return. Nothing. You'll forget you planted it, and then every spring, it'll remind you, gently. Number 10 is where the ladder starts to steepen. Candy Tuft. Iberis sempervirens. A low evergreen mound that explodes in white flowers so dense the green disappears entirely for 3 weeks in April. Purity is the classic cultivar. Alexander's White is more compact. Zones 3 through 9, full sun, sharp drainage. Trim it back by a third after bloom and it'll often give you a second flush in early fall. And here's the part nobody tells you. Candy Tuft holds its dark green foliage all winter, which means even in February, when everything else looks dead, this plant is quietly doing its job. I told you these get better as we go. We just crossed the halfway mark of the climb. Let's take a breath and look at how far we've come. We started with pansies, the most forgiving flower in the world. We climbed through alyssum, dianthus, forget-me-nots, creeping phlox. Then we stepped up into the surprising performers, hellebores blooming through snow, bleeding hearts dripping pink, columbines self-seeding into custom hybrids, brunera glowing in the shade, candy tuft erupting in white, 10 plants, 10 flowers that bloom non-stop from the first thaw to the start of summer. And here's what I want you to notice. Not one of these has asked you to be a perfect gardener. Not one has needed a special fertilizer schedule, a complicated pruning calendar, or a degree in horticulture. You don't have to be a perfect gardener to have a great garden. You just have to plant the right things. Now, Tier 3. The showstoppers. 8 more plants, and they get richer, longer blooming, and more dramatic with every step from here. Number 11 is the start of the showstopper tier, and it's a flower most people underestimate until they grow one, lungwort. I know the name is rough. Pulmonaria, but look at the actual plant. Raspberry Splash has spotted silver green leaves and flowers that open pink and age to blue on the same stem at the same time. Trevi Fountain is even showier. Zones 3 through 8, part to full shade, average soil. It blooms from late March through May, and the spotted foliage stays gorgeous all summer long. Plant it once, walk away, come back 5 years later, it's better. Number 12, and this one's a real conversation starter. Virginia bluebells, Mertensia virginica. They emerge as purple-tinged shoots in March, unfurl into bell-shaped flowers that open pink and shift to true sky blue, and they carpet a woodland edge in a haze of color that doesn't look quite real. Zones 3 through 8, part shade. Moist, rich soil. They go fully dormant by midsummer, so pair them with hostas, ferns, or astilbe to cover the gap. And the warning. Buy them from a reputable nursery. Never dig them from the wild. They're a native treasure and they deserve protection. Number 13. Primrose. Primula. And I'm not talking about the sad grocery store 6-pack that dies in your kitchen in 2 weeks. I'm talking about Primula vulgaris in the ground, in part shade, in real soil. The ballerina series gives you double-petal blooms that look like miniature roses. The gold lace primroses look hand-painted. Zones 4 through 8, they bloom from March through May, take cold beautifully, and naturalize into colonies if they're happy. The trick is moisture. They hate to dry out. Plant them where you walk past with the hose, and they'll bloom for you for 15 years. Number 14. This is the one I almost cut. Lewisia cotyledon, a rock garden plant from the mountains of the Pacific Northwest with succulent-like rosettes and absolutely improbable flowers. Striped pink and orange, white veined with magenta, salmon with a cream center. The Elise series and the Little Plum series are bred for garden conditions. Zones 3 through 8. Full sun in cool climates, part shade in hot ones. The non-negotiable is drainage. Plant them on a slope, in a rock crevice, or in a gritty raised bed. If water sits on the crown, they rot. If water drains through fast, they bloom from April through July and look like nothing else on earth. I almost cut it because I was afraid you'd think it was too fussy. It's not, it just needs one thing, drainage, and then it gives you a flower that looks like it was painted by hand. Number 15 is the one that converts skeptics. Anemone blanda, Grecian windflower. You plant the corms in fall, 3 inches deep, and forget them. Then in late March, daisy-like flowers in blue, pink, or white open every morning and close every evening across a soft green carpet of foliage. Zones 4 through 8. Sun or part shade. They naturalize into drifts of hundreds without any help. White splendor and blue shades are the cultivars to chase. The whole thing costs about $15 for 50 corms, and 10 years later, you'll still be getting flowers from that one Saturday afternoon of planting. 3 left. And these are the summits. These are the ones that change how you think about spring entirely. Number 16 is peony. Yes, peony. I know you've heard they're finicky. You've heard they take 3 years to bloom. You've heard you have to plant them at exactly the right depth, or they'll sulk forever. Some of that is true. Most of it is exaggerated. Sarah Bernhardt is the pink one you've seen in every wedding bouquet for the last 100 years. Festiva maxima is white with crimson flecks and smells like a rose garden. Coral Charm opens deep coral and ages to peach over a 2-week bloom window. Zones 3 through 8. Full sun. Well-drained soil. Plant the eyes. Those little pink buds on the root, no more than 2 inches below the soil surface. That's the whole secret. Plant them once in fall and they will outlive you. 100-year-old peonies are common. You're not planting a flower. You're planting a small, fragrant inheritance. Number 17, and this is the one I think changes which corner of your yard you focus on. Wisteria, specifically Wisteria frutescens, the American native, not the aggressive Asian species that swallows houses. Amethyst Falls is the cultivar that changed everything. It blooms reliably in its second year. The flower clusters are 8 to 12 inches long, deep lavender purple, and the plant tops out at 20 to 30 feet instead of 70. Zones 5 through 9. Full sun. Average soil. It blooms in May. Sometimes reblooms lightly in summer. And the structure, wisteria draped over a pergola, an arbor, a sturdy fence, turns an ordinary yard into a place people take pictures. One warning. Give it real support. Cedar 4x4s, not a flimsy trellis. It's not aggressive like its cousins, but it's still wisteria. It wants to climb. And number 18, the summit, the one I told you to wait for, lilac, but not the one your grandmother had, bloomerang, syringa bloomerang, dark purple, specifically, and its lighter cousin, bloomerang pink perfume. These are reblooming lilacs, and they have rewritten what a lilac is allowed to do. The classic spring flush comes in May, fragrant and rich, and you think, that's it, the show is over for another year. And then in July, it blooms again, and again in late August. And one more time in September. It's a compact shrub, 4 to 5 feet tall and wide, perfect for a smaller yard or a foundation planting. Zones 3 through 7, with Zone 8 performance in cooler microclimates. Full sun, average, well-drained soil. Deadhead the spring flush as it fades and the reblooms come faster. That's the whole job. And the fragrance is the lilac you remember from being 8 years old. Walking home from school, only now it's coming out of your own yard in May, in July, and again in September. That's 18. 18 flowers, 3 tiers, 1 spring that never quite ends. And here's what I want you to do with this. Don't try to plant all 18. Not this year. Pick 3 from tier 1, 2 from tier 2, and 1 from tier 3. That's 6 plants. That's 1 weekend. That's spring next year. That looks completely different from this one. And then the year after that, you add 6 more. And the year after that, you finish the list. Because the truth I've learned from killing more plants than I want to admit is this: a great spring garden isn't built in one Saturday. It's built one good decision at a time. You don't have to be a perfect gardener to have a great garden. You just have to plant the right things. And now you have a list of 18 of them, ranked, tiered, and proven. So here's what I'd love from you. Hit subscribe. The channel is built entirely around helping you garden in a way that doesn't punish you. Hit the like button if even one of these 18 made it onto your list. And in the comments, tell me, which tier are you living in right now? Tier 1, just getting started. Tier 2, ready to surprise yourself? Or Tier 3, ready to plant the showstopper? I read every comment, and I'll tell you exactly which cultivar to start with for your zone. Now go look out the window at the spot you've been ignoring. That one. Yeah, that's where number 1 goes.